Most guys think they can attract girls by throwing out a few funny pickup lines or using some sneaky little trick they saw online. But let's be real for a second. That stuff rarely works. What actually draws someone in isn't cheesy lines or fake charm. It's psychology. It's about understanding how the human mind responds, what triggers emotions, and how to use that knowledge in a way that feels natural, not manipulative. Today, I'm going to tell you 7 psychological techniques that, if used right, can make the person you want feel drawn to you almost automatically. These aren't just tricks. They're principles based on how attraction, perception, and emotion really work. By the end of this, you'll see that the real power isn't in pretending to be someone you're not. It's in learning how people think and feel.
Let's start with something subtle but incredibly powerful. When a guy is involved in something meaningful, helping others, volunteering, supporting a cause, his value shoots up in people's eyes without him even trying. Imagine a guy in school, maybe the star player on the soccer team. Everyone thinks he's cocky, full of himself, until one day someone casually mentions that on weekends he teaches underprivileged kids. Suddenly, the whole story changes. That same girl who thought he was arrogant now sees him as kind, grounded, and human. That shift in perception happens because we naturally assign higher value to people who seem selfless or compassionate. So if you ever want someone to see your real worth, don't brag or try to prove it. Let it show naturally. Do something that has meaning, and let that be known casually through others or through your actions. When people hear good things about you from someone else, it hits twice as hard. Now, here's where things get interesting. People move through 2 mental states, a logical state and an emotional state. When someone is calm and thinking clearly, they're in a cold, rational state. When they're caught in emotion, excitement, jealousy, curiosity, they're in a hot state. If you can guide someone from cold to hot, you can change how they see you completely. Imagine this. You like a girl, but she only sees you as a friend. Instead of pushing harder, you do something small but strategic. One day, you ask one of her friends, "Hey, is she single?" And if the answer is yes, you casually say, "Cool, can you give me her friend's number?" Then you walk away. It's risky, but what happens next is fascinating. When that girl finds out you showed interest in her friend, it sparks a tiny flame of jealousy and confusion. She starts wondering why you aren't focused on her anymore. Suddenly, you're not just the safe, friendly guy. You're the one she's thinking about. When her friend later says nice things about you, that spark turns into attraction. You've changed the emotional temperature, and with it, her entire perspective. The next one is something every high-value person understands instinctively. Scarcity creates desire. People want what's rare, not what's always available. When something is too easy to get, its value drops. It's not about playing games. It's about showing that you respect your time, your energy, and your self-worth. Don't always be the one initiating conversations. If she doesn't reply, don't double text. Don't say yes to everything just to please her. Show that you have your own world, your own opinions, your own priorities. When you live like someone with options, people start treating you that way. And here's the twist. When you seem slightly out of reach, you become 10 times more interesting. You don't have to fake being busy. Just live a life that actually keeps you busy. Go to the gym, hang with your friends, focus on your passions. When you do talk to her, mention those things naturally, like they're just part of your everyday life. When she sees that others like you or respect you, her curiosity and attraction grow automatically. Mix in a bit of unpredictability. Reply fast sometimes, slow other times. Let her wonder what you're up to. If she asks, "Are you free tomorrow?" don't jump to say yes. Instead, say something like, "Maybe, depends. What's the plan?" That one line shifts the balance. You go from chasing to being chosen. Then there's the power of words, something most people completely underestimate. Have you ever noticed how some people talk and every word seems magnetic? They tell a story and you hang on every line. That's not luck. It's language. They use emotionally charged, sensory words that stick in your head. There was a famous study where people watched the same car crash video, but one group was told the cars bumped, and the other was told they crashed. Just that single word changed how severe they thought the accident was. That's how powerful language can be. So when you talk to someone you like, don't just say things like, "It was nice," or "It was good." Say, "It was insane." "It was hilarious." "It was terrifying." Paint pictures with your words. When you speak with that kind of vivid energy, people remember how you made them feel, not just what you said. That's what makes you stand out from everyone else, because most people are forgettable. Now, let's talk about inviting someone out, one of the trickiest moves that can go either way fast. Most guys either sound too shy or too pushy. "Would you like to get coffee with me?" Sounds like you're begging for approval. "We're getting drinks, you should come." Sounds controlling. The trick is to frame it in a way that gives the illusion of choice while still leading where you want it to go. Instead of asking directly, say something like, "What do you prefer, coffee or drinks? Let's try one this weekend." You didn't say, "Will you come?" You made it about her preference, not her permission. Psychologically, that small shift makes a huge difference because now she's not deciding whether to go out with you. She's deciding where. You've turned a yes or no question into a conversation that naturally ends with a yes. Then comes one of the most fascinating psychological principles ever, the Benjamin Franklin effect. It's based on something Franklin himself used. When you ask someone for a small favor, they end up liking you more, not less. Sounds backward, right? But here's why it works. When a person does something for you, their brain tries to justify it by thinking, "I must like this person, or I wouldn't have helped." So here's how to use that in a modern setting. Say the girl you like posts about a restaurant or a place she just visited. Reply to her story with something like, "Looks awesome. I've been wanting to go there. Any recommendations?" You just asked a small, genuine favor. It doesn't feel forced, and it's about something she enjoys. She'll probably respond because people love sharing opinions, especially about things they like. Once she gives you advice or tips, she subconsciously starts to feel more connected to you, like she's invested in you in some small way. And from that little moment, rapport starts to build naturally. But none of this matters if you don't know how to end things right. People don't remember every detail of an interaction. They remember the emotional peak and the ending. That's what psychologists call the peak-end rule. So if your final moment with someone feels strong, confident, and a little mysterious, that's what stays in their mind. Picture this. You're on a great date. The vibe's perfect. As it's wrapping up, you excuse yourself for a second and text a friend to call you in 5 minutes. When your phone rings, you pick up casually and say, "Yeah, I'm free now. See you soon." Don't mention any names. Then turn to her, smile, and say, "I had a great time. Let's do this again." And walk away. When she asks who it was, don't spill it. Just smirk and say, "I'll tell you later." That tiny bit of mystery will keep her thinking about you long after you've gone. Her mind will fill in the blanks, and curiosity will turn into intrigue. You're no longer the predictable guy who texts right after. You're the one she can't quite figure out, and that's powerful. At the end of the day, these 7 psychological principles aren't manipulative. They're about awareness. They help you understand what makes people feel drawn, safe, excited, and curious. When you apply them with authenticity, you don't just attract someone, you connect with them on a deeper level. You start to see how attraction isn't about looks, money, or charm. It's about energy, self-respect, and emotional intelligence. These ideas might sound like dark psychology, but the truth is, they only feel dark to those who use them without empathy. Used with good intent, they make you magnetic, confident, and emotionally smart. So, if you take anything away from this, let it be this. Don't try to force anyone to like you. Instead, learn what naturally pulls people in. Speak with purpose. Live with value. Be unpredictable enough to stay interesting, yet grounded enough to be real. Because when you truly understand how attraction works, it stops being a mystery. It becomes second nature. If you found this lesson helpful, make sure you share it, like it, and stay tuned for more from Roots of Her. And remember, growth starts with change. So keep evolving, keep learning, and as always, stay unique.